Hello, everyone, and welcome to another YouTube episode of the Marine Conservation Happy Hour. And again, I'm joined by Dr. Scarlett Smash and her tiki mug, and Dr. Daniel Palacios from Oregon State University.
Hey,
so
everyone.
In the last episode, we were talking about Daniel's work tagging big whales. And one of the big issues at the moment is the impacts of climate change on marine species. And whales are one of the first indicators of these major changes in the oceans.
Incredible.
So Dan, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're finding with your tagging studies?
Right. So climate change and climate variability are two aspects of our climate system that are very difficult to tease out. But we have a general sense that the climate change side of things is an upward curve, right? Climate variability are oscillations, and we have to be able to address both and tease them out correctly in the context of how whales are responding to these things. So that, unfortunately, that requires a long time series of data, which we don't necessarily have. However, I will say that we have, thanks to the foresight, just all the insight and foresight of Bruce Maid, our original founder of our lab. Since 1994, we've been studying blue whales of the West Coast. So with those, what we can see is how they are responding to various events that have happened along the West Coast, including multiple El Nino and La Nina events, right? But on top of that, we have things like the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, and most recently, the infamous blob or marine heat waves. So the marine heat waves is something that has come up into our frontal cortex, if you will, in the last 10, 15 years, as something that just happens, just like heat waves on land, where the ocean just overheats for 1 or 2 years. So it's part of our work to try and tease out what are the animals doing under these different conditions. And then is also climate change part of this as well. And what I will say, just to kind of like get to the bottom line here, is that ultimately, it's about the food, the prey, and the quality of the prey, the distribution of the prey, and the density of the prey. And for whales, that means schooling little things, that whether that's krill or schooling fish, and they are strongly responsive to climate events. So anytime we have a climate event, we see major shifts in their distribution, their abundance, and especially because baleen whales, because of their rorqual whales, because of their feeding style, lunch feeding, they require a minimum density of prey to be able to engulf. So density of the krill or fish schools is altered in a way that is below a threshold. They will not eat.
I completely understand it. I'm not going to go to the grocery store unless I know I'm going to get a big basket of food. You know what I mean? I'm not going to waste my time, my energy, unless I know I'm going to get a whole basket of food.
That's a great example. So what it means with climate change is that the disruptions due to decreasing primary productivity is that the prey quality, aggregation, density, and so forth starts dissipating, starts decreasing. So obviously whales start working harder and going to places where the prey pockets, in a way, are still plentiful, but of course they deplete them very fast. We just had a conversation about a recent study that showed how, by Savoca et al., that showed how much whales actually are efficient at eating. So they will find these aggregations and target them. So that doesn't bode well for whales in the long range, because that just means that the prey availability is going to be going down, and their quality, their body condition is going to be impacted in the medium term and long term, of course, survival and so forth. So
thank you, Dr. Kraken, for being on the show. Daniel, thank you so much for being on the show too, with your expertise. And for everyone that is listening, thank you for joining us on our YouTube special. Please like, subscribe us, and follow us on all our social media platforms. And we thank you so much for being part of the Marine Conservation Happy Hour community. Bye bye.